The Winnipeg Jets have been one of the most surprising teams in the NHL so far. Top of the league at 6-0-0. They are the only remaining undefeated team right now in the NHL. And they have been looking really impressive and surprising a lot of people. And now, obviously, the Jets did pretty good the last year, too. We'll talk about that later on in this video. But the Jets are always one of those teams that no one really knows what to expect from them. And who would have thought they would start the season 6-0? Definitely not me. But you know what? I know it's still early, but obviously they're off to a great start. Now let's take a look at some of their more stats. Their power play, best in the league right now at 44.4%. Like I said, yes, it is still early in the season. All these teams and power play numbers are going to change, but their power play is looking really impressive so far to start the season at 44.4%. Penalty kill is 15th at 80%. Still not too bad though. And then we'll take a look at last season for the Jets, how I said they were good too. Finished fourth in the league last year with a record of 52-24. Now, obviously, they got eliminated in the first round of the playoffs by the Colorado Avalanche in 5 games. Connor Hellebuyck, that series, in some of the games, don't think he looked his best after, of course, winning the Vezina trophy. But yeah, take a look at the Jets from last year. Finished fourth in the league. A record 52-24. Very impressive record. And you know, over the past few years, the Jets haven't looked the greatest, but now they're looking like they can really be an impressive team and surprise a lot of people. You got Mark Scheifele, who's already got 8 points in 6 games. You got Nick Ehlers also with 8 points. Josh Morrissey, Kyle Connor, all those great talented guys having a great start to the season for you guys. Connor Hellebuyck so far is looking like he could potentially win another Vezina. He's up there for best save percentage and goals against average. So yeah, the Jets, man, they're looking really impressive. Like I said, the only remaining team undefeated. And let's take a look at their schedule here over their last 6 games. Now, taking a look at the Jets' past 6 games here, you could say, yeah, they have had a pretty easy schedule so far. But let's take a look at some of the scores of these games because they have been pretty close games. So obviously the most recent one, which was against the Blues, they came away with a 3-2 win. So won by 1 goal there. Close game there. Then they beat the Penguins 6-3. But let's look at the schedule here. You got the Blues. Not one of the greatest teams, obviously. Not like a contender for sure. You got the Penguins, they beat 6-3. Pittsburgh, as we all know, they're rebuilding, not a contending team. Then you have 8-3 against the Sharks. Sharks are also a rebuilding team, not going to be the greatest. Then you have a close game in overtime, which they won 2-1 against the Wild. Very close one. Could have gone either way. They could have lost that one, but they didn't. They won in overtime 2-1. Again, Minnesota, not the greatest of all teams. definitely not a cup contender team. So again, pretty easy schedule so far. Another 2-1 overtime win against the Hawks. Now, Chicago, obviously close game, could have gone either way. They could have lost this one too. Overtime, you just never know. But again, Chicago, another rebuilding team, not going to be a contender. So far, all these teams, yeah, you could say they played against pretty easy teams. Then you have the Oilers, which they beat 6-0. And obviously, the Oilers are definitely a contender team. Obviously, they just made it to the Stanley Cup final last year. They have struggled a little bit this season, but it looks like they're starting to pick up some wins now, too. So that's their past 6 games, and really, the only tough team you could really say that they played, even though they beat them 6-0, is the Edmonton Oilers, because they made it to the Stanley Cup final last year, and they're definitely considered contenders since they went there last year. So, taking a look at their past 6 games, yes, you could say they have had a pretty easy schedule so far. But again, it's early too. I understand that it is early. They're not gonna go the whole season undefeated. They're not gonna go 82-0. They are gonna lose some games. But still, even though it's early, it's been 6-0 is a pretty impressive start. So yeah, Jets fans, enjoy it while it lasts and have fun with it. And yeah, it's great to see the Jets starting off the season well. It makes things really interesting to kick off the season. And that's what we love early in the season. We love some great surprises too. So yeah, we'll see if the Jets can stay consistent and keep it going. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. And let me know your guys' thoughts on how the Jets are doing so far. Are you guys surprised, or you're not really that surprised? And I'll see you in the next one.